So with the Clasico coming up in the weekend, I figured I might as well use the opportunity to scope out the enemy, to scope out the opponent that we're playing on Sunday. And I decided that today, because Champions League is on, let's tap into Real Madrid. Let's tap into what they're cooking, what they're doing before the big game on Sunday. And I decided to watch Madrid versus Juve. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I want my 2 hours back. Get me my 2 hours back. And look, I'll break down the game. I'll go into it. I'll tell you, who impressed me, who didn't. But I feel like this is one of those games where the stat sheet and those Twitter warriors will tell you that Real Madrid absolutely peppered Juve. It should have been more than, 1-0. No, this wasn't the case. The stats will lie to you because obviously, yes, Madrid had the higher XG, more shots, whatever, more possession, and they did. But what we actually saw was completely different. Let's be honest. I'm not trying to be too harsh. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be a biased Barca fan, hating on Madrid or whatever. I'm sure a lot of, Madrid fans will agree with me when I say that this was a very underwhelming performance. It wasn't the greatest performance. I mean, yes, they got the win, 3 points. It's all that matters in the end, but it was okay. It wasn't anything too special. And look, it's not only Madrid. It's obviously Juve too. Juve, my goodness, today. I mean, just looking at that lineup, man, how the mighty have fallen. Like, take me back to the times when these guys would rock up to Champions League nights with Pogba, Marquisio, Chiellini, Buffon, Mandzukic, all these world-class players. Take me back to those times, man. Like, looking at this lineup, and look, I mean, to be honest, of course, a couple of these players are actually, like, good. Like, I rate Yildiz so much. But my God, for large parts of this game, this team was just so sad to watch. Like, it was hard to watch. And I think that's primarily due to the fact of how Tudor actually sets them up. Like, yes, it's a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 or whatever formation they play, but they put like 7 or 8 players in the box, leaving just Vlahovic on an island on his own and expect to build up properly like that. Like, they played like a relegation side. It was so tough to watch them. But it just goes to show that, look, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't watch many Juve games. I'm not like a, avid Juve watcher. But I can tell you just from this game alone that this team is struggling. And yes, they've been on terrible form. I think they haven't won a game in like 7 games now. It's like 2 losses and like 5 draws or whatever. And I mean, just from that performance, you can tell that this manager, he may do okay in Serie A, but on the big Champions League nights like this, they really got to fix up. They have to fix up. Whether it's the system, whether it's the formation, they have to go back to the old ways. We're missing the 2017, 2016 Juve with those world-class players. And obviously it's down to like, their management and how they view the squad and how they analyze it, but this game alone should just show you how far Juve have fallen from being such a world-class side 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, this is the biggest club in Italy that we're talking about. This isn't like some scrubby team. This is Juve. They're the biggest club in Italy, and how it's crazy how far they've fallen. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's talk about the best players who impressed me, who didn't. I think that going into this game, a lot of people, including myself, expected Madrid to absolutely pepper Juve. Like, destroy Juve, because when you take a look at the expectation of from both sides, I think not many people predicted Juve to do that well, and to be fair, they didn't, even though they did have some windows of opportunities here and there. But a lot of people had their expectation on Madrid to just steamroll them for 90 minutes straight. And look, we'll start from the first half. I think in the first 15 minutes, Juve were very good. I thought they were very well drilled. They obviously had their game plan. They were very tactically set up in a way where they could hurt Real Madrid, because they had 2 really good chances on the counter where they just completely opened Real Madrid. They could have easily scored 2. Just from that first half alone, they had 2 very, very good chances, and kind of those early signs were there for Juve. But like, just after those 15 minutes, like, yeah, Madrid had more of the ball, but it was just boring. Like, it wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't a great, display from both sides, considering, the names that we're talking about, Real Madrid and Juventus. It was just flat and boring, I think that it was, like, underwhelming and, kind of disappointing to see that this is the quality that we're being showed on a Champions League stage. I think that first half alone kind of set the standard of how this game's going to go, but it also kind of gave the second half more onus and kind of expectation for us to see. But I think the way Juve were defending, it kind of put more, emphasis and kind of talking points on how Real Madrid actually attacked. That first half alone kind of showed that this Real Madrid side, they really struggle with creativity. They really struggle with breaking down low blocks, whether that be against Juve, against Getafe, against Atleti, Marseille for little bits and moments of that game. They really struggle to create chances if Arda Güler is not on the pitch. I mean, him alone just created, what, 7? I think it was 6 or 7 chances. Where is it? Yeah, 6 chances created this game. Like, if he's not on the pitch, there's no real chance creation from Real Madrid. I thought he was brilliant today. I was actually surprised that he got taken off in like the 74th minute, because as soon as he went off, my God, these guys just look completely flat without him. And I think that he brings so much to the game that not many, fans that aren't Real Madrid see. Because if you actually watch Güler play, a lot of the, attacks, a lot of the, whether it's set pieces, whether it's, him picking up the ball on the right hand side and kind of dictating the way the attack should go, a lot of it goes through him. He was the better Turkish player today between him and Yildiz. Yildiz did have his opportunities today, but he's like the, what's like the term? Is it like the sacrificial lamb, or like the crying wolf? Whatever, you get the term. He was like that one player, that one shining player in like a team full of like skeletons. Like, he's like the saving grace of this team, to be honest, because like without Yildiz in this team, this Juve side would be way worse. But Arda deserves his flowers too, because I'm really interested to see how Barca are gonna tactically set up in order to stop this guy from creating any sort of chances. Because if we give him space in this high line and he's feeding balls to Mr. Kylian Mbappe over here, it could be a long day. But, I mean, to be honest, after that Dortmund game in the Club World Cup, when Madrid, completely played them off the park, I haven't seen a game this season where, like, I'm really, really impressed, where, like, I'm shocked, where, like, I'm completely blown away from a Madrid performance. And I could be wrong about that. That one, I mean, I'll let the Madrid fans, criticize me for that if I'm mistaken. But you have to admit that in the big games, whether it's Atleti, whether it's Juve, whether it's Marseille, it's not been convincing whatsoever. This makes me wonder that if Madrid were to play against a better side than Juve, because let's be real, there are so many better sides than Juve. If they were to play against a PSG, a Barca, an Arsenal, a Bayern, all these teams that are well in form right now, this scoreline wouldn't be the same. Because if the other teams had the chances Juve had when Vlahovic had that 1v1, when they were able to open up Madrid through counterattacks, this scoreline wouldn't be the same. But if we're also being honest, like, De Gregorio today, I mean, yeah, there's a reason he got an 8.0. Like, this guy pulled off some ridiculous saves that I've never seen before. Like, that double save alone was incredible. Like, that was a clear goal scoring opportunity for Mbappe. Great save, and then on the rebound too, he just threw himself at the ball and saved it too. So fair enough. Like, Madrid also had really, really good chances today, and it could have gone, differently on a different day. But this makes me really wonder where this Madrid team is going in terms of playing teams that are like at an elite level. I think their first real test, will be Barca this Sunday. So I'm really interested to see how they kind of break this down, if they can. Obviously, I think that we also have our own defensive issues at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of play around that. And we're not going to be playing with 8 players behind the ball. We're not going to be sitting back. At least I don't think so. I don't know what Hansi Flick has up his sleeve, to be honest. But it's surprising because when you take a look at this Madrid team, they have so much quality. Like, this is probably one of their best 11s they'll put out in any game, in any, big game in Europe right now. It really just makes me wonder that if you just scrap Arda and Bellingham from this team, where are the chances coming from? Mbappe's not going to do everything himself. Mbappe struggled today in that low block. He had his chances, yes. He had 2 very, very good chances to score. But one of them, if we're being honest, it was a jammy defensive move from Brahim Diaz that gave him space to shoot. The other one was a well-worked move, and he should have scored, to be honest, but he didn't. But besides those 2 chances, where are the chances coming from for Mbappe? Vinny has been better this season, but he's not like, peak Vinny that we saw 2-3 years ago. Again, this goes back to my point of how Madrid are going to play teams that are like defensively resolute and can actually build up properly, because the build up today, like I said, for Juventus was just, let's just not talk about it. Like, it was a really, really frustrating thing to watch from like a neutral's point of view. If we're going player by player, Courtois pulled off 2 really, really good saves. That Vlahovic one-on-one, big. Carreras was decent today. I thought he had a slow 20-30 minutes, but he kind of eventually grew into the game, started to win balls high up the pitch when Madrid were piling on pressure in that second half. Militao played good. He kept a clean sheet in the end. That's what matters. But Vlahovic did give him some trouble. Let's not get it twisted. Vlahovic gave this guy a little bit of trouble, whether it's through the hold-up play, the link-up play, balls in behind, obviously the one-on-one that I keep talking about. Vlahovic gave Militao some trouble today. Asensio's good. Obviously got injured towards the end, so he got taken off. Valverde was just Valverde. Cambiasso and Yildiz didn't give him too much trouble on that right-hand side. He dealt with it pretty well. But yeah, Güler obviously had a great game. Bellingham, right place, right time, and honestly, he won a lot of his duels today, which is I mean, he's an all-action midfielder, so that's normal to see from Bellingham. But yeah, like besides that one goal they scored, guys, like you'd expect more from Real Madrid. Let's be honest. Like I'm not trying to be too critical here, but I'm also being critical here, if that makes sense. Like yes, there are so many improvements you can take from Xabi Alonso. I think if you compare how Xabi sets up this team this year to how Carlo did last year, like they are more defensively resolute. There's much more balance. They keep the ball way better. Like from like a defensive build-up play point of view, Madrid are way, way better than they were last year. Like you'd often see that for 30, 40 minutes of the game, these guys would just keep the ball and recycle constantly just in and around the edge. But in terms of like attacking, having that bite, having that threat, constantly penetrating a defense with chance after chance, I haven't seen it yet. Like yes, they've had their like one or two chances and they often do get goals, and that's all you need in the end of the day. But how far is that going to get you? That's not going to get you too far if you keep playing kind of safe and stagnant and flat. But I think what Xabi really needs is to find a consistent attacking structure against the biggest teams. They can do it against the Getafes and the Elches and the Sevillas, whenever. They can do it for those type of teams week in, week out. They have no problem because that's down to sheer quality. But against the big teams on the big European nights, I think we're yet to see a convincing win from Real Madrid. That's probably my biggest takeaway from the Madrid game today. Whether you agree or disagree with me, please drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Score predictions for the Clasico. Thoughts on the game today, of course. So obviously there's still so many games to go. We'll see how it goes. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. All my socials are in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.